So, question. What do Chris Watts, Scott Peterson, Jodi Arias, and Erika Kirk all have in common? They all did something extremely sus in the hours after somebody that was very close to them was offed. So Chris Watts, right after his wife and daughters disappeared, he went on local news and he gave interviews pretending to be a worried husband and father. He was oddly calm, even smiling at parts, and asked for their safe return while knowing damn well what he did and what actually happened. That interview ended up being one of the biggest red flags in his whole case. Scott Peterson, he reported his wife missing, but then acted super detached and off. He went golfing. He kept up with an affair. He even told his mistress that he had lost his wife before she was even known to be missing, well before the disappearance was public. During media appearances, people also noted how unemotional he was and how detached and how it just like made everyone feel really weird. Starting to sound familiar? It was almost performative, which later became a major focus during his investigation. Jodi Arias. Jodi initially denied being at Travis's home, then made up a bunch of scenarios around home invasion, self-defense, you name it. But what really stood out to everyone was how she acted in her media interviews. Smiling, composed, even like flirty at times, while discussing a case in a way that felt completely detached and completely tone deaf to the actual violence of the circumstances. So 3 of these people are either in trial or awaiting prison. The 4th is on tour telling young women and girls to get married and abandon all their independence. Just give it up. Give it all to a man. Submit. Don't have any opinions. Don't have a job. No career. And once you see where Erika Kirk went within her first 12 hours of finding out Charlie had been, you're going to be like, what? So before we get into that receipt, I need you to understand who Erika Kirk is and some other odd behavior that we haven't yet talked about on this show, because the internet has been really busy debating, like, did she do this? Did she do that? Whether she's grifting or grieving correctly. But nobody is talking about these moments. And when you piece them all together, it tells a really weird story.
If I could be great at one thing, I wish that I could sit in front of a mirror or a makeup mirror in general and spend more than just 20 minutes to a half hour looking at myself.
And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is inevitably going to be coming running down those stairs any second now with a ball. And we currently have a lead on Katie Miller. If you're not familiar with Katie Miller, she is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica behind all of this ICE terror and immigration terror. She married him on purpose, and she's building a podcast on the backs of trafficked families. And we are fully bootstrapped. So consider every sub, every follow, every hype, every comment, 6 words or more, every action as a direct FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. So who is Erika Kirk actually? Inconsistent.
I have respect for the individuals that are in the pornography industry, not because they're degrading women or anything like that, but because that's their field and they are professionals. So I give them credit for being able to have a job and make money and stimulate the economy that way.
Okay. So that's a clip of Erika Kirk being pro-ho and standing for workers, which is a take that I fully support. And it's like quite progressive. So it's interesting here because Erika Kirk, it's honestly like a little jarring to watch, because on the surface, what Erika Kirk is saying is about respecting people in the corn industry, completely reasonable, and they should be respected. Workers deserve safety, dignity, and the same basic labor protections that everyone else is entitled to. So that should not be controversial or a hot take. And a lot of people, including myself, strongly agree with all of that. So hearing that in isolation, I'm like, okay, she's a little woke. We're going in the right direction. But the problem is this doesn't exist in isolation. It's the same person, Erika Kirk, who will say whatever she needs to into a microphone to gain power in that moment. So if it's at a Trump pageant, she's going to say what she thinks she's supposed to say there. But then she's now been on tour for months telling young women to not have a job, to abandon your career, to submit to men who are statistically most likely to kill you. She's also, not for nothing, said horrible things in support of ICE and against immigration. So you don't get to pick and choose which groups you think deserve dignity based on how you're feeling or how convenient or popular it is that day. If you believe that people deserve respect and dignity, You should believe all people deserve respect and dignity. That same principle should apply to sex workers as it should to immigrants. So without any consistency, it's hard to understand what the heck is going on with Erika Kirk here. This is the same person who said all these harmful things. And with Erika Kirk, when she said these comments on a stage, on a Jesus wants to make heaven crowded tour thing, what she said about immigrants and how she's gone after trans people and even praised systems like ICE, those comments and actions support a militia that has caused real damage in real people's lives. So when you take all that into account, it just feels like it lacks any sort of real compassion. And it shows us that Erika will do or say anything she needs to stay in power. And like, Erika, you really think Jesus would be like down with ICE? Give me a break. So that alone would be strange, but it doesn't stop there, because even after she made a series of bizarro comments regarding his social media accounts. Let's take a look.
The Charlie Kirk show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on. The show will go on. We will have rotating hosts, rotating casts, rotating people coming on.
We've got some great people next week.
Unbelievable. We will have consistency. The members
it's
only
like a dig.
Group will continue to go on. All of his socials that God has blessed us with, the people who follow those socials will go on. Nothing is changing. But I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird. Cringy. We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Yeah. Erika Kirk. Look how fast that happened. She steps into his organization and she's basically like trying to give assurances to people who have purchased things and who are connected into memberships programs. Your husband's dead, babe. Like, he's dead. Yes, grief looks differently on everyone, but for Erika, it looks like a full Vegas residency. Full calendar of events, publicity tour like we've never seen before, and something she never quite was able to achieve when Charlie was here on this earth. She had to share the spotlight then. So this is where everything clicks into place. Charlie Kirk's death was made public at 4 p.m. Eastern-ish, I believe. I was here right at this table around like 1-2 o'clock when we got confirmation, and I was going to record in an hour. I'll link to that episode. And I was shook. I was traveling that weekend. I was like, this is not a good time for anyone. And Erika, within 24 hours, within 12 hours of that announcement, an employee at Allo felt compelled to photograph a transaction and send it to a stranger on TikTok.
I got an email today from someone that works at Allo, and they looked up Erika's account, and it appeared that she had spent over $1,000 buying Allo clothing the day after Charlie was. You can see it clear as day on the receipt. Erika Franzwe, her maiden name, purchased $1,043.30 worth of clothing on September 11th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Guys, put this into perspective. I'm looking it up here. Charlie Kirk was announced to be at 4 p.m. on September 10th. Not even 24 hours later, Erika went home, woke up in the morning, and bought an Allo tracksuit.
So these receipts, unverified, don't come for me, show over $1,000. It has her name on it, her maiden name, the one that she may or may not have ever stopped using, and her address. It's from Allo Yoga. I also have shopped at Allo. I have a profile in the systems too. Erika has small children. Her husband was just publicly assassinated. And somehow in the middle of all that, she's going to buy a tracksuit from Allo at the mall in brick and mortar? Huh? How do you have the bandwidth? I mean, even when my dog has a bad doctor's appointment or when she has to get her teeth cleaned, I'm inconsolable. I'm a mess. I think if she goes before my time, I'm going to have to be put down first. So can you imagine it being your husband, your partner, your father of your children? Doesn't make sense. And at that moment, when we see this and we pair it together with all how she stood up in the crowd and forgave the shooter and how it was supposed to be this beautiful thing, it just feels off. It feels off to all of us. It's a great unifier, just like Epstein. We can come together bipartisan agreement here that Erika Kirk is acting weird. And you already know the cases. Scott Peterson with his pregnant wife. When she disappeared, he went golfing, he ran errands, and he gave the media calm interviews asking for her return while knowing damn well that he was continuing to see his girlfriend on the side. Jodi Arias took photographs and drove out of state to socialize with her friends in hours after Travis Alexander was killed. Bryan Kohberger went back to class. In every single one of these cases, the complete lack of disruption you would see in somebody who had just experienced something so horrific, so shocking, was the same as Erika Kirk's. So when Erika Kirk is at Aloe, within 12 hours of her husband's purchasing a tracksuit with enough composure to browse and decide and maybe even drive there and check out, that's weird. That's weird. Call me Candace Owens. That is a pattern that is well documented by investigators, analysts, in some very serious cases, very specific serious cases that point to preparedness or careful management of how they appear. Erika is not fumbling right now. She is on the rise. She's ascending to a higher position of power in terms of social clout and political clout and money and status. Charlie died under violent, and as far as the general public is concerned, unresolved circumstances. And she ended up with the keys to the organization, the money, the platform, the social media channels that God had given her, the memberships, the books, the merch. The shopping trip is fucking weird. It's fucking weird. What she's doing with Turning Point USA is weird and dangerous. And somehow we're still here talking about a tracksuit. So I think about that a lot, and that might be the whole fucking point. But if you want us to continue digging in here, we are not taking our foot off the gas on this one. Again, I'm Lauren Paritra. I am Lauren P across all social channels. Maybe Willa will come down. Willa, you want a treat? And we fully bootstrap this podcast. I was tired. I do this all as a one-woman team. I don't want to be bringing you guys AI slap, so I put a lot of care and thought into every single episode. 100% of my earnings go towards getting editing support, so that way I can sleep sometimes. But the best way you can support is comment, share, sub, make sure you have your notifications on, and follow me across all platforms. We'll be back with more.